Welcome to Mystery Date. This show was created first and foremost for entertainment purposes. While we do our best to research our topics, nothing discussed on this show should be taken as absolute fact. Opinions, theories, and interpretations are just that. Listener judgment is encouraged.
A faceless doll sewn shut with human teeth. A kitchen floor in Spain that bleeds moving faces. And a restricted Tennessee ridge where the air hums with the sound of phantom chains. Tonight, Christian is leading us down a very dark path with these three accounts. But there's a catch. Only one of these stories is a documented historical fact, while the other two are terrifying deceptions he's spent all week perfecting. It will be up to us to figure out which one is a genuine glitch in reality before the night is over. If you think you can spot the fake better than I can, pour a glass of wine and pay attention. Because once we start, the line between history and nightmare gets very thin. This is our first Two Lies and a Legend.
I'm Christian.
I'm Kate.
Welcome to Mystery Date. It's date night, meaning we get to talk about all things mysterious and weird.
This season is called A Haunting, and it deals with all sorts of haunting, paranormal, and ghostly things and mysteries in our world.
Tonight's mystery is a little bit different. It's a game that we're calling Two Lies and a Legend.
So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and let's start the show.
I was like, the table seems so far.
It's
I had
'cause
to
I
reach
moved
for
it for the dog. I moved the table for the dog earlier.
It's okay. If you see me look a little awkward in that reach, that's why. Our dog needed comfort.
Yeah, she wants to be the star of the show, but she can't sit still for us to do the show.
Yeah. She was in our Madison Seminary episode. So again, shout out for that episode. We'll plug it anytime I can. I think it's amazing. And I absolutely loved doing that. And I want to do more of stuff like that. So if you enjoy ghost hunts or paranormal investigations or anything really involving ghosts or spooky things, go ahead and check that video out. I think there's a lot of stuff that people will like. So
yeah, and our dog has a guest star at the end.
yeah, if that's there to tempt you, then I hope it does. Another plug real quick off the back that if you like the show, make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, hit whatever button you can to interact with us. It goes a long way and shows the algorithm that what we're putting out there, people like, and hopefully allows us to grow this family even more. But getting into it, tonight's episode is, like we said, a little bit different. I thought I'd shake things up a little bit, and instead of just doing our classic, I'll sit down and read a mystery, why not make a little game out of it? It's date night after all, right?
Yeah, I like it.
So instead of telling you just one ghost story, I will be telling you three. This time, though, there's a twist. Two of the stories I will be telling you have been completely fabricated by either me, Reddit, or any other resource that I can find some spooky stories online that we can share. But one story will be based on a real-life legend that has at least some documentation. At the end of this episode, after hearing all three stories, you will have to guess to figure out which one of these is real. Are you down for the task?
We'll see. I'm probably going to be like, all of these are fake, so...
I'll not only tell you which one is real at the end, but I'll also give you a little bit of information on the actual case and the proof that is there to back it up. We won't leave you hanging on that front, but we'll get into it. You can interrupt me if you want, if you have any random questions, but otherwise, these are just more or less just narratives, so you can just sit back and let it happen to you if you want, and then talk later. So the first story we have is The Hollow Child of Blackwood. The house on the outskirts of Blackwood, Maine had been a local curiosity for decades. A boarded up Victorian that the town seemed to grow around, but never acknowledged. In the fall of 1994, David and Sarah Miller purchased the property, eager to restore its original woodwork. The house was a time capsule of the late 19th century, right down to the debris settled deep within the walls. During the second week of demolition, David was removing a section of lath and plaster in the master bedroom's closet when he found a small, narrow cavity behind the chimney flue. Inside sat a doll. It was roughly 14 inches tall, stitched from heavy, unbleached linen that had turned to a brittle, tea-stained brown with age. It had no face, no eyes, no mouth, just a smooth, blank head. What struck David immediately was the doll's rigidity. It didn't flop or bend. It was stiff and strangely heavy for its size. Assuming it was a primitive puppet or a piece of folk art, he placed it on the mantelpiece in the living room. Over the next few days, the atmosphere in the house shifted.
I'm sorry. He's doing some reno around the house. He finds a creepy ass doll in the chimney, and his first assumption is just, well, it must be some primitive folk art. Let's display it on the mantle and just keep it here in the living room.
He might be a quirky guy, you know, it's the 90s.
I guess if I found something like that in my chimney, I might not immediately be like, oh my God, it's a demon haunted possession. But like, I would immediately be like, that's freaky. Get that shit out of my house. We're burning that. We're going to kill it with fire so that it doesn't get a demon possession.
Well, maybe it was possessing him already.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Keep going.
No, you're good. That's a good thought. I mean, why the fuck would you want that?
You're like, oh, he puts it on the mantle. I'm like, what? he just puts it on the mantle. Okay. You do you, man. You do you.
Over the next few days, the atmosphere shifted. It wasn't the sound of ghosts, but the smell that disturbed them at first. A faint, cloying scent of copper and vinegar that seemed to emanate from the living room. Then there was the physical evidence. Sarah began finding small, hard fragments on the floorboards near the fireplace. At first, she thought these were chips of white stone or plaster falling from the ceiling. The escalation was quiet. It wasn't until Sarah sat down to clean the doll that she noticed the stitching along the doll's spine was beginning to fail. The linen was dry rotted, and as she lifted it, the weight shifted internally with a dull, wet thud. A small ivory color object fell from the split seam and clattered onto the hardwood. When she looked down, it was a human incisor. David used a scalpel to carefully open the rest of the seam. There was no cotton batting or sawdust inside. The doll had been packed tight with a mixture of dried peat moss and hundreds of human primary teeth. Baby teeth.
Hundreds?
Hundreds. Remember, this was 14 inches tall, so you got like little tiny...
Oh my God. Because that's something like, at first, it definitely seems like, all right, yeah, that's spooky and haunted as fuck. But sometimes, especially the further back in history you go, I feel like, you know, no offense to anyone out there, again, you do you, but sometimes new parents and mothers get a little weird about their baby stuff, like trying to preserve it while their babies are growing too fast.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Especially baby teeth. I feel like baby teeth are something that moms will hold on to often.
Baby teeth and hair, I feel like, yeah.
I am like, at first you're like, okay, it's filled with baby teeth. Like, a mom wanted to keep all her kids' baby teeth and she put them in a doll. Like, that's kind of cute. Like, all right, it's just kind of a weird nostalgic toy. But hundreds? How many children could this lady possibly have had? Like, now it's creepy. Where are they getting all these teeth?
Some of the teeth, which again were baby teeth, still had traces of dried organic matter attached to the roots. Deep within the center of the peat moss, wrapped in a piece of oiled leather, they found a small mummified tongue. Yeah, that's not no mother.
Yeah. I don't know about this anymore. I feel like this would be, they have the physical doll and teeth and tongue, so like this would be documented for sure if it was the real one.
Well, a local historian later suggested that the house had once belonged to what is known as a sin eater or a folk healer in the 1880s. The theory was that the doll wasn't a toy, but a ritualistic vessel that was designed to hold the voice or the sickness of children who had died of scarlet fever in the valley. The doll was never meant to be found. It was meant to be sealed behind the brickwork to keep whatever was trapped inside from speaking. The Millers didn't report a haunting. They reported a biohazard, but to this day, the Blackwood Historical Society refuses to archive the object, and the local police records regarding the Blackwood vessel remain restricted to public view. So that's the story of the Blackwood Child, or the Hollow Child of Blackwood. So that's our first one.
All right.
What do you think of the story, though?
That's interesting and spooky. If that is real, I see. Like the thing about the there's still a loose end though. What about the tongue? They explained the teeth and the doll and how it's like, okay, it was kind of like an old medical cleric type healing thing where they were maybe spiritual, maybe just medically, whatever. They're trying to like get rid of the scarlet fever and like bad juju regarding fevers probably. So like that would make sense. And it's like, okay, yeah, a lot of people died with scarlet fever in the 1800s and there was like whole epidemics and stuff. So having that many teeth from like the whole village, like that would make more sense. But why is there a tongue in there?
I mean, if it's a ritual, that could just be part of it. So many stuff like that, I feel like, are part of ancient rituals, especially if it was mummified. That means that it had gone through like a process to get to where it is.
And the whole like, oh, they wanted to seal it off so that whatever's inside couldn't speak. You guys made it. You put the dead kid's teeth inside and a tongue. Like, what do you mean? So it can't speak? It definitely sounds like somebody is implying that this thing is haunted.
So you're not buying this story?
It's not tidy.
It's not. Well, I will say, don't expect any of these stories to be a complete. So we're only have like 500 words per story.
Well,
they're
and
all
I mean,
short.
You're right. And to be fair, real life isn't always tidy. It doesn't always. Not every string gets wrapped up nicely in a bow. So I don't know. We'll have to hear the others before I can decide.
Do you think that's spooky?
Yeah, I think it's spooky.
Yeah.
I just told you, if that one's real, that's spooky as fuck. A little teeth doll with a mummy tongue inside.
Would you want to go investigate that house?
Is the doll like on display there or something? Or is it, again, it's just...
The doll, based on the story, is locked away. Like that's...
It's like in evidence for police, basically.
Not the police, but that historical society or whatever. They just don't let people...
Yeah. I mean, I guess. It doesn't sound much like a haunted house.
Okay. All right. The second story is the Belmez imprints. In the summer of 1971, in the small sun-bleached village of Belmez de la Morleda, Spain, Maria Perea was working in her kitchen when she noticed a stain forming on the concrete floor. It was a modest house built in the early 20th century, and Maria initially assumed the mark was a simple moisture seep or a grease spill from the hearth. She scrubbed the floor with soap and water, but the stain didn't fade. Instead, over the next several days, the shape began to clarify. By the end of the week, a human face had emerged from the concrete. It was expressionless, sorrowful, and it was staring up from the floorboards near the stove. Terrified, Maria's husband took a pickaxe to the kitchen floor. He broke up the concrete, carted the debris away, and laid down a fresh, smooth layer of cement. For a week, the kitchen was clean. Then, slowly, the face returned. It was in the exact same spot, but the features had changed. The eyes were wider, and the mouth was parted as if in a silent shout. Word of the faces of Belmez spread quickly. Local authorities, suspecting a hoax, launched a formal investigation. They moved the family out of the house and sealed the kitchen with wax strips and police tape, covering the floor in thick plastic to ensure no one could enter and paint the images. When they unsealed the room 3 weeks later, the original face had moved across the floor, with several new, smaller faces resembling children had manifested around it. Under the pressure of the civil governor, the kitchen floor was excavated. Digging several feet below the foundation, workers made a grim discovery. The house had been built directly over an unrecorded 17th century graveyard.
Shit.
They uncovered the remains of several individuals, many of whom had been buried in a communal pit. The remains were removed and given a proper burial in a local cemetery, and the floor was once again replaced with new concrete. The village expected the phenomenon to end, but within months, the faces began to bloom again. Forensic experts from the University of Madrid were called in to take samples of the concrete. They tested for oils, pigments, chemical dyes, but the results were inconclusive. There was no evidence of paint or external manipulation. Chemical analysis showed that the pigment was actually a change in molecular structure of the concrete itself, as the images were being burned into the stone from the inside out.
Whoa.
The faces continued to appear and disappear for over 30 years, shifting their expressions and positions as if reacting to the people in the room. To this day, the Belmez case remains one of the most studied and least explained instances of spontaneous manifestation in the world of paranormal.
Yeah, see, and I've never heard of it. I feel like if it was really that big of a case and it was kind of still going on and they had that much proof, it would be highly photographed. It would be more talked about. There would be movies about that one already. These both sound fake so far. I don't know.
Think both of them are fake so far?
I don't know yet. I just don't know. I don't know yet so far. The first one, it feels like they're trying really hard to imply that it was a haunting, but then the only thing that really happened was that a tooth or two fell from the chimney, and then they found the doll was filled with teeth. They found the doll in the chimney, and it was already leaking through the seams. So the few teeth falling from the chimney first could easily have been explained by like, well, yeah, the doll was up there first. They were probably up there once you moved in and started using the chimney and the fireplace. It kicked up some motion, and those fell. Other than that, they had no haunting like symptoms that they talked about, at least. And they even were like, no, we don't think it's a haunting. It's just a biohazard, and we want to know what this is and where it came from. If that doll is real, like, it's definitely a prime object for haunting. That sounds creepy as fuck.
What do you think about the second one? I mean, a grave underneath a house and it keeps burning in.
That's a wild and awesome story. It definitely sounds fake. It sounds like the plot of a movie versus something that could happen in real life. But I don't know yet. I have to hear the third one before I'll know for sure.
Which one do you think spookier so far?
Spookier? I guess the faces one, just because the other one it's spooky in like a that's fascinating and a little bit sad and a little bit unknown kind of way. The second one is spooky in a this defies the laws of science and stuff as we know it kind of way.
Yeah, the burning from the inside out.
Especially on top of these like mass graves and stuff. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's something like some sort of spiritual energy literally burning their faces and reacting expressions into the floor underneath your feet. That is not something that you hear of in like a haunting case. No. Stains appearing on the floor we've heard of, but not in clear faces with reacting expressions and movement and that kind of stuff. So I feel like that would have broken a new barrier into like paranormal investigation and paranormal history as we know it.
Honestly, just science in general.
Like,
that would be
like that's what I mean. I'm like, there would be no more skeptics left. If that one was true, there would be so much photographic evidence. Because you said it started in the 70s, but it went on for over 30 years, which means it might still be going on. And it definitely was going on 10 years ago, where we've had social media and ghost hunters on YouTube, and the Warrens were at their biggest in like the 70s. Like we would have heard of this.
According to the story, it is still open, and the faces do still appear. That's what it said at the end.
Yeah, I don't think I believe that one. The first one, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but the second one, I'm betting is one of the false ones.
Well, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one so far, you're like, that might be it. The second one, that's on your false list.
It might be not. The second one, awesome story. Like, kudos to whoever came up with the concept of that. That sounds like it could be in Game of Thrones, like almost magic, you know?
Yeah.
But sounds fake as fuck. So
the first one does sound like, because again, the true stories that we're telling or that we may be telling, they're based off of documented records. We're not saying that case happened. We're saying that there is someone that looked into this and claims that this did happen, but
it's the same with all the hauntings we've talked about. We never claim that it's all fact. It's just that these are at least reported, documented, investigated cases.
Yes.
Some people believe it to be fact.
Yes. The other two are just fabricated, like fake. Like I said, they're pulled from creepypastas on Reddit. They're made by me, written up by some in the future, maybe by Kate. Just a fun way to get out some creative writing. And again, it just helps with the game. But only one does have a documented case. And a little teaser, we will go over the real documented case and what facts are behind it at the end once we figure it out.
Okay.
So now time for the last one, which is the hum of Old Stand Ridge. In late 1998, a series of disturbing reports began emerging from a small geological survey camp stationed on Old Stand Ridge in Tennessee. The team was there to study seismic shifts in the Appalachian foothills, but their logs quickly shifted from tectonic data to absolute psychological distress. The lead researcher, Dr. R.S. Thorne, recorded a persistent low-frequency hum that seemed to vibrate the very air inside their cabins. It wasn't just a sound. It was a physical sensation that caused nosebleeds, chronic insomnia, and intense bouts of vertigo among the 5-person crew. Local legends had always whispered about the singing stones of the ridge, but Thorne's team was the first to document the phenomenon with high-fidelity seismic audio equipment. By the 3rd week, the hum began to manifest visually. Thorne noted in his final report that the team began seeing static-like distortions in the forest, shimmering patches of air that looked like heat waves on asphalt, even in the dead of winter. One technician, a man named Elias Vance, went missing during a routine equipment check. When he was found 6 hours later, he was standing in a clearing, staring at a cluster of gray, jagged stones. He was catatonic, his eyes completely bloodshot. When he finally spoke, he claimed that he couldn't see the stones anymore. He could only hear the voices of the people who had been executed in that valley during the Civil War, over a century before. The investigation took a darker turn when the survey team's digital recorders began playing back audio they hadn't captured. The tapes didn't record voices, they captured the sound of heavy, dragging footsteps and the distant rhythmic clink of iron chains, repeated in a perfect loop for 12 hours. The most disturbing evidence, however, was found in the team's mess hall. On the final night before the evacuation, Thorne reported that the hum became so loud it shattered every piece of glassware in the camp simultaneously. When he entered the kitchen, he found the shards of glass had arranged themselves on the floor into a perfect geometric pattern. A map of the ridge with a single X marked over the clearing where Vance had been found earlier. The camp was abruptly shuttered by the Department of the Interior in January 1999. The official report cited unstable terrain and high levels of naturally occurring infrasound as the cause for the team's mass hallucinations and subsequent evacuation. However, when the independent researchers tried to visit the site in the early 2000s, they found the entire ridge had been annexed and fenced off with government property signs. No seismic records from the old stand have ever been released to the public, and the original audio logs from Thorne's team remain classified under a national security health and safety exemption. And that's the story of Old Stand Ridge.
All right, so this one started off sounding pretty legit. About halfway through, I was like, I don't know, this one could be fake too. And then I thought, unless it's all like a government cover up, because I could see that. And then you said they returned and it was a private government base now. And I'm like, oh shit.
Government cover up, baby.
We know all about that. Montauk.
Oh yeah, we've talked about infrasound too and the stuff that can do, which it is heavily
I was going to say, this sounds like the other something hum. Teos hum?
The Teos hum, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that started making hikers go crazy and stuff. This is having psychological effects. So it's like this one, oh man. The second one, I'm I'm going ahead and I'm submitting I think the second one is one of the fakes.
Second one's fake. Taking it out of there.
But the first one versus the third one, I don't know. They both sound just as far-fetched as they do true.
You give me your answer, and while she's thinking as well, audience, why don't you think before I reveal it? You can pause the episode if you want.
Yes, pause the episode and comment your guess. And then you can come back and figure out the real answer. But in this third one, they're all like, oh yeah, all evidence and all of this stuff is now, it's just been classified and kept under cover by the government ever since. How'd the story get out?
Could have been a whistleblower. Remember, the stories that are real are quote unquote real. They might
That's
not
true.
still.
That's true.
They just need some sort of source. This was a fun idea.
I know. I don't know which one is real and which one is fake out of those two. In Tennessee.
The last one was in Tennessee, Old Stand Ridge. Do you say that like you know all of Tennessee? I don't know no place. No.
I don't know a lot of Tennessee, and there are a lot of like mountains out there. It's pretty populated with some stuff going on too, but there is a lot of mountains where there's not a lot of stuff going on.
I mean, again, not to sway your opinion, but even if I were to read this story, like regardless if it's real or fake, I would be like, yeah, Old Stand Ridge, that sounds real. I would not have any double like.
No, right at the beginning of the story, I'm like, yeah, this one sounds legit. I'm here for it. It wasn't until the middle or towards the end that I'm like, crap, which one is true? This one or the first one? Because at first when you started this one, I'm like, oh, this is obviously the true one. The rest of them were fake.
And then by like the map part with the X, you're like, okay.
By the map with the geometric shapes and the X marks the spot, I'm like, all right. I don't know about all that.
I mean, that would be a case of a residual haunting, though. Could you imagine?
And I was going to say it's still similar to the haunting cases we discussed, where it's like, even if there's plenty about that story that is real and I believe, there's always at least one element that I'm like, well, I'm sure y'all exaggerated that. I'm sure that part was for the book deal. All right. Creepy voodoo teeth doll or haunted hills run by the government.
Use your knowledge from all of our seasons. What sounds like would be the most plausible. Again, it doesn't have to be real.
They both sound like something we would cover.
They
That's
all sound like something.
I'm like, this does sound like a legit mystery we would cover on this show. Where did the doll one happen? I'm asking these questions as if it really is going to impact my
it might.
answer. I don't fucking know.
It was Blackwood,
Maine. Oh, New England is pretty spooky, though.
Maine or Tennessee?
Honestly, before I asked where that one happened, I was going to say in my gut, I think I'm leaning towards that one being true. I think the teeth doll exists.
Okay.
And I think the rest of it is bullshit.
The teeth doll exists. All right, audience, lock in your answers because I'll reveal the answer in 3, 2, 1. The truth, number 2.
Oh my God, you are so kidding me right now. There's no way.
Both the other two are completely fabricated.
How? How is number 2 true without more proof and scientific change and like people knowing about? Where is this headline?
Let's dive into it for a second.
What the fuck? There's some floor out in Spain that just has screaming souls' faces communicating to people on it. And no one's talking about it. What?
While the first and third stories were crafted from urban legends, the account of the Belmez faces is entirely real. This case, known in Spain as Las Caras de Belmez, began in August 1971 at number 5 Rodriguez Acosta Street. Maria Perrier's discovery of that first face on her kitchen floor sparked a controversy that lasted over 30 years and involved everyone from the local police to international scientists. What makes this case so unsettling isn't just the faces themselves, but the lengths investigators went to prove that this was a hoax. The local governor actually ordered Maria's kitchen floor to be excavated and the room sealed with wax and police tape for months to ensure that no one was sneaking in to paint them. When the room was opened in front of witnesses and cameras, the faces had not only moved, but new ones had appeared. Smaller and distorted images of what appeared to be women and children. And as the story mentioned, the excavation beneath the house revealed a gruesome truth. The building did in fact sit directly atop a 17th century cemetery. And this cemetery had been part of a communal burial site for those who had died during periods of intense local conflict. While the bodies were eventually relocated to a proper cemetery, the faces continued to manifest in the concrete for decades, even after Maria herself passed away in 2004. The University of Madrid and several independent chemists have analyzed the concrete over the years, and they looked for silver nitrates, lead, and various pigments, but no traditional painting materials were ever found. One of the most haunting theories proposed was thoughtography, the idea that Maria was subconsciously projecting her own internal emotions or ancestral memories directly into the molecular structure of the cement. To this day, the Belmez house remains a site of pilgrimage for paranormal researchers. It stands as a rare example of a physical haunting where the evidence didn't just disappear into the night. It was burned into the very foundation of the home.
Why is no one talking about
Do you want to
this?
see the Belmez faces?
What the actual fuck?
Are you
yeah. Dude. No fucking way. How is this not a bigger deal? Like, this is blowing my mind right now. How is this not talked about more often with not just paranormal people?
And don't worry, we will share this image for you all to look at.
Like, this is insane. The first one's creepy as fuck, but like those one, look at those. That's like a little Victorian boy right there.
No, that's the creepy thing about
little
this.
Pilgrim boy or some shit.
Is they all remind me of, like, everyone says they're women and children. Like, it's creepy.
And it almost looks like old artwork.
And remember, they sealed this room off by the mayor. The mayor told this woman to seal this room off.
And it's like, if it was old artwork, they'd find residue of old paints or something. And like the fact that they scrubbed it away, excavated, and put new cement, and it's still coming back and they're moving, like, that's unexplainable.
What does this make you think of the Smurl haunting now with the stuff on the carpet? Do you think maybe there is something there? We just said it was mold, but now after reading that story, I was like, oh shit, maybe that's a common haunting thing. Because I'm with you on this. This to me is like, this is almost like proof.
This is absolute proof. I don't know if it's of a haunting or of, like, they suggested the almost like a psychic ability. Oh, this is crazy.
No, but it's proof of something.
Holy shit.
I'm so happy that you thought 2 was not.
I was so certain that was the fake one. It was so hard. I was fighting internally about which of the other 2 could possibly be real. I really, really did not think this one was real. Holy shit.
No, I'm so happy though, because when
I told you, it reminds me of like something you'd see in Game of Thrones. Like it feels like a borderline paranormal and magic, or like it feels like something we don't even have in this world. It's different than paranormal, and it's different than spiritual.
Supernatural.
It's something else.
Supernatural.
Yeah,
I like that word. I think that perfectly. If I saw this, I'd be like, that's supernatural. If I've never heard that word defined, that is supernatural. Because it's not quite, like you said, it's not quite paranormal. It's not quite conspiracy. Like, it sits in this, it's like, no, that is something, that's something else. Like, it might be kinetic or have something to do with her mind, with the thoughtography, but to me it screams residual haunting again, which is,
well, especially because they had that gravesite of all those people. I'm like, dude.
Which to me, if hauntings exist and if ghosts are real, it's, in my mind, almost 100% always residual.
That's how kind of I view it too. I think that if anything, spirits and residual consciousness or souls or whatever you want to call it can leave an impact after the body has died. But I don't necessarily think things like demon possession are real.
No, I don't. Could there be some sort of, I don't want to get,
like, maybe, I don't know, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't want to get crazy in the woods just yet with you guys, but could there be some dimensional beings that are slightly malignant or have bad intentions, sure, if you want to believe that way. But no, I don't believe in like the biblical Catholic demons or even really super intelligent ghosts in the fact that they're independent.
Or like Ghost Whisperer, where it's like literally the person appears before you and
Yes,
it's like,
no.
help me with my unfinished business so that I may cross over.
No,
I don't think it's that black and white or even that clear.
No, that's
in real
why
life.
I got kind of obsessed, I think, with ghost hunting after we did the Madison Seminary, is because what we're looking for, especially at least me as an investigator, I'm sure Kate might be in it for just like the fun and a little bit more, but me as an investigator, what I'm looking for is the historical context and the anthropological answers to these hauntings. So
that's me, baby. I'm in it for the human experience.
Yes,
Always.
yes.
I'm a writer after all.
So what I believe is that if we're searching for residual hauntings, that intrigues me so much more because I'm not searching for a ghost. I'm literally looking for history. And that is such a cool idea to me that I want to try to capture that more. But that's what I think a lot of the hauntings are, is it's the stone tape theory. The energy can have such an impact on an area or a person or something that it just, once that person's gone, that energy remains. And if you believe in the multiverse or anything like that, everything happens at once, right? So that event is happening at the same time that you're in the room, that it's not like it's all just a big mush of galactic dust.
You don't even have to believe in the multiverse or in residual hauntings. You don't have to believe in any of that. Actual factual science says that when we as living present beings bottle things up, whether it be good or bad, usually if it's bad, you bottle it up, you don't talk about it, you don't deal with it, you don't cope, you don't go to therapy, you don't get help, you don't change, whatever it is, it's stuck inside. Eventually, even if your mental capacity doesn't break because of that, and it doesn't come out in the form of some sort of mental illness or diagnosis there, your body will start to fail. That's a real thing. Like there's books about it where like the body will remember the trauma that you force yourself not to deal with. And if it's happening to us while we're still alive, why wouldn't it be happening with the energy that's, yes, their body's dead, but there's still energy from it. We also know through real science that not 100% of the human makeup can be accounted for. There's like 2% or something that it's like, we don't know what that is. That's not one of our elements.
Yeah.
We'll call it the soul, maybe.
No, I agree with you.
But that's all real science that is, at least as we know it in this time, fact. Could it be disproved in the future? Maybe. But right now, that's a real thing. That it's like if you bottle up trauma, it'll come out later. And it'll affect other people. And it'll come out in ways you don't expect, ways you might not even notice. Maybe it'll be a physical illness. Maybe it'll be your personality changes. Maybe you have a stroke. Like maybe you start having mental illness issues. All of that stuff happens because of our energies being displaced and being held on to till they become these residual things that are flaring up and us not knowing why. So you have to believe in it because it's already happening.
You're like, scientists already says it's real.
Scientists have already said it's a fact, so why wouldn't it apply to a haunting or a multiverse setting as well?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely, that's just my personal theory and take on it. So when I read that one, I was like, man, that is crazy. And that's why I kind of believe like that's proof of that. Like that energy is hanging on through that cement or whatever is in that building. And like something's going on to where it's just so powerful that it keeps burning into the cement.
That's literally insane. Like you're not joking.
No,
this isn't a big twist that you're going to pull
here
at the last second.
I'll show you the Wikipedia entry.
Jesus, oh, Jesus can't save us from the faces. I'm just saying, dude, this one's wild. This one's really got me.
This one's really got me.
This one.
I think the margarita might be speaking a little bit.
I have had half a margarita.
I'm fucking with you.
Half a margarita. Trust me, I'm not the only one. You all feel me on this. I know it because like what the fuck? There's no way this one is the real one. This one sounded the most for sure fake out of all of those stories. And it's like, why if we have this much proof, when you see these photos, it's like, okay, how is the world not talking about this more? Why aren't we investigating this harder? What the fuck?
This is why this show is awesome and why you should all continue to listen, because as much as we think we know everything, we clearly don't. And there are some mysteries in this world that are still worth exploring.
It's so crazy.
So out of all three of the stories, what do you think was the best story, though?
The best story.
I think that's an interesting take,
Honestly, no, I think that one was.
You do? You think the real one? No,
I think that's what
fair.
I said before. I'm like, that one
yeah.
is the best. Like, that one's the most shocking and like the best written. Like, that one sounds like it should be a movie or a TV show. That one's good. The other two, I'm like, I don't know. There's some loose holes there, but they sound so much more realistic.
I thought that would be a good exercise, though, for a question of which one's the best story, because I think it'll be interesting if it's ever not the true story. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's cool that the true story was the best story.
Yeah, in this case.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Hell yeah.
Dude, this is literally so crazy. Like, I can't get over it.
How did you enjoy our first game of Two Lies and a Legend?
This was fun.
This was fun. You like this format?
I'm really bad at guessing the real one, I guess, but maybe that'll change.
Well, let us know what you guys thought of this format. And if you liked it, we'll do more of it, because I thought it was a pretty cool little game to play. And I think it's right on point with the mystery date theme. So I thought it'd work perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'd love to do more in the future, because I like writing and I like coming up with stories and I like searching Reddit for stories. And I think it's a cool way to get across some of the smaller mysteries that might not need a whole episode.
They can be told in 5 or 10 minutes instead of an hour. But they're still mind-blowing like this.
Exactly. They can still be a little bite-sized, and I think they're still worth being told because they're so crazy. Like, what?
Yeah, because science and spirituality and the unknown and just the world, that shit's cool.
Oh, I love it. I love
Isn't
mysteries
that neat?
so much.
Isn't that neat?
Clearly, I'm obsessed with this. All right, but now we're going to get into the date night debrief. We've covered our stories. We're going to relax for the night. My first question for you is, what's my first question? My only question for you.
We have multiple questions tonight, too?
No, just one. I'm not that prepared. What's your favorite Pixar movie? We had our Disney princesses, so I wanted to follow it up.
Fuck, this one's even harder because Pixar is really good.
I'll say mine, and honestly, it's very recent.
I was going to say, I have to look up a list of Pixar real quick so I can make sure I'm considering all of them. There's so many at this point, and some of the recent ones are really good.
The one that I like is, again, pretty recent, but I think it's just every time I watch it, I am kind of obsessed with it. And the more I watch it, the more obsessed with it I grow. And that's Soul. I think Soul is just like, at least for me, dude, that movie hits so many awesome levels that I never thought would be touched by a kid's movie, let alone a Disney movie.
I'm really surprised you didn't say Onward.
I know. No, I know Onward's. I know. Onward's a great movie.
Really good.
Onward's really great, but I think that is still a little bit, as much as I love fantasy, it's still just something about Soul being so grounded in reality makes that movie so appealing to me.
Onward hits a little too close for home for it to be your favorite, I think. I don't know. This one's hard.
Onward's second for sure. I knew Onward was up. Like, that's up there.
Yeah, like, as a kid, I think I watched Finding Nemo and Monsters Inc. enough that their DVDs were like starting to skip and not work properly. I had Finding Nemo memorized, all right? But then WALL-E came out, and to this day, every time I watch WALL-E, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm crying.
WALL-E's great.
It's
WALL-E's
so
great.
good, and the musical score, and they've got Hello Dolly in there. Like, I love that one. But then, like you said, some of the more recent ones have been so good. I really liked the first Inside Out.
Oh, Inside Out's great. I think
Coco.
Coco's
is
good.
Pixar.
The reason I think Inside Out doesn't resonate with me though is because I wasn't a kid if I was a kid when that movie came out, it would have hit right on the nose. But now I almost have to look at it in like nostalgia where it's like, oh, when I was a kid, that's exactly how I felt. But if I was a kid watching that and I kind of got it, like, holy shit, that movie would probably resonate with me for the rest of my life. That would be the anchor movie.
I really love Turning Red, but I don't watch it that often. Because I think same thing. I feel like if I had seen that when I was a kid, it would have hit so hard and so close to home. I would have solved all my therapy right then and there. Like, but I saw it as it came out when I was an adult, and I'm like, oh man, this is the movie they needed to make for me when I was young. Like, this was so good. But I don't know. Like, my current favorite Pixar movie, I haven't even seen the most recent 3. My God.
No, I haven't either. There's a lot.
Oh wait, no, we saw Inside Out too.
No, we didn't. Oh
we
yes,
did.
Yeah, we saw Inside Out too. We didn't see Zootopia too.
We didn't see Zootopia too. I don't know if that's Pixar.
I actually don't know either.
Because it's not on this list.
No, you're right. I don't think that is.
But Elio and Hoppers, we haven't seen yet.
I want to see Hoppers.
I liked Elemental a lot, but I don't think it's the best Pixar movie by any means.
Elemental felt like a side movie.
It felt kind of like cheesy and not the greatest written at times, but then there was some scenes that I'm like, oh my God, it's so good.
I think Elemental had a really hard time, especially following up after Zootopia. Like those two are very kind of similar.
They're similar. Fuck, man. I don't know what my favorite Pixar movie is. I like Pixar. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of good ones. I think, I don't know. Soul
this is the
really
hardest
good.
question we've asked her.
I know. You can ask me like existential questions about life and death, and I'll be like, oh, easy, this answer. But you ask me about my favorite Pixar movie, and now I'm in crisis because there's so many good ones. I don't know.
When you think Pixar, what comes to mind?
Well, usually Toy Story, but I think that's because that was the first one. And when I grew up, I mean, my brother's name is Andy. We had a Woody and a Buzz. We strapped a rocket to the Buzz and melted him or something. Like, we definitely destroyed one of them trying to play Sid games.
I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think it's fair to say that your favorite Pixar movie might be Toy Story because we watch it frequently. Out of every Pixar movie, we still go back to that one, even if it is technically the oldest Pixar movie.
I like Coco a lot.
You do watch Coco a lot.
Coco is the only it's the only Pixar musical.
Yes, and you do watch honestly Coco you watch a lot.
I watch it a lot. You probably have only seen it a few times, but I do watch that one.
No, because
more.
of how often you've watched it. I've woken up several times to just Coco or like
It's a good one.
It is good. I like Coco's good. Like I said, mine's Soul and then Onward. Those two shift based on...
I really like both of those as well. But I think like my top favorites are probably WALL-E, Finding Nemo.
I think You know what I was saying?
I think WALL-E's my favorite. I think WALL-E's my favorite Pixar movie.
For sure.
Yeah. I love WALL-E.
That was longer than the episode figuring out what.
Shut up. You know who you married, all right?
You'll have to have 2 titles. So the first one is 2 Lies and a Legend. And the second title is also our favorite.
Choosing a Pixar movie.
This is why it's called Mystery Date. Is because you get the mystery and then you get the date night question.
Yeah, and see, like, we've been married for almost 6 years. We've been together for like 14 now.
Yeah.
And we can try to guess these answers for each other, and we're still like, oh, I don't know. I would have bet money that his favorite Pixar movie was Onward. And he's like, no, I think I like Soul better. And then he's like, I think your favorite's Toy Story. I'm like, I don't know. What about Coco and WALL-E? Like, he's like, oh shit, yeah, you do watch those a lot.
I was only saying Toy Story just because, like, I do think that Toy Story holds a very large sentimental, like,
it
part
does.
in your.
It does. I mean, it is the most nostalgic of the Pixar movies, especially like, you know, like today's kids, you do what you want. They're making movies for you. For me, Toy Story ended with the trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't need any of that new stuff. It's not, that's for someone else's kid. For my childhood, it ended with Toy Story 3. And the ending of that was so
Chef's
good.
kiss.
I remember it being in the theaters watching that with a bunch of other adults, and we're all just sobbing. We're like, this is what we needed.
We all needed to pass on our
Like,
toys.
it was so good. It got dark for a second where we're like, oh my God. Like,
I actually read a thing that was like Bo Peep couldn't be added in the third one because she was made of porcelain. And I guess
oh my God.
I guess scientifically she would have melted in that last scene. So they were like, we can't have her in the movie then. I don't know how true that is, but
dude, that's wild. When I was a kid, I loved Bug's Life too.
no, Bug's Life was
Especially because at Disney World, they had something called the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground,
good. Yes.
which was all entirely Bug's Life themed.
Two birds, one stone.
So yeah, it was weird, but I loved that place when I was a little kid. So like, I think that's why I loved Bug's Life.
I feel like I loved Bug's Life, or I thought I loved Bug's Life. And then I watched it as like an adult and I'm like, wait, what is this story? I'm sorry. So he goes and joins
It's about
a
extortion
circus.
and slavery and rebellion.
The story is just odd.
I like Pixar shorts.
Yeah, Pixar shorts are good. Honestly, Pixar is just so good. We're
Pixar's
so lucky.
very good. Yeah.
Well,
If you had the chance to pick a Pixar movie,
would ya? Well, any free talk you have?
I don't think so.
One thing I do want to say is that if you're a paranormal investigator, or if you know of any locations around you or in Ohio or honestly anywhere, please let us know. Leave it in the comments, send us an email, because like I kind of hinted at earlier, I kind of got a bug for doing this whole paranormal investigation thing, and I want to do it in so many other places, and so many places just have a unique story to tell, and I want to be the one to tell it. So if you know any locations around that have tellings of ghosts or anything spooky, or even in the conspiracy realm, let us know and maybe we'll show up to investigate it. But other than that, I think that's it. So be sure to come back every other week for a brand new episode and a brand new mystery.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And remember, you can send us your own episode ideas or just little love letters to our email, mysterydatepodcast@gmail.com, or you can DM us on social media at mysterydatepodcast. And you can go to our website, mysterydatepodcast.com, and leave a voice message on there, or call the mystery hotline at 216-770-4881. And your story just might make it on the show.
And also be sure to share this podcast with your friends or even your enemies. We're not going to be too picky, and we want everyone to enjoy a good mystery every now and then. So send all of them over. We'll take it. And be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, whatever you can do to interact with the show directly helps us and gets us in the eyes of others. So we can't thank you enough for that. Every little bit boosts and gives us a little happy dance.
Yeah, and let us know, what are you liking best? Do you like our typical mysteries? Did you like our movie date nights that we did? Do you like our investigations? How'd you like this 2 lies and a legend? Give us your feedback, people. We'll give you more of what you want to see more of.
Exactly. I like that. That was a good ad for sure. Let us know what you're liking out of the different formats that we're trying. I think the main show might always kind of be just like,
It'll always
one
be
mystery
there.
kind of, talking about it. But a lot of these other variations I do love doing, and I do think that they're good options to get different audiences engaged in different ways. I mean, not everybody likes just a hour-long history session. So I get that. I do, but I understand. That's why these different formats exist. But yeah, let us know which one you like the best. That's all. So be safe and have a great rest of your day or night.
And remember, every good mystery deserves a date. Bye.
Bye.